Apple recently announced the latest iOS 17. We now get some crazy features like contact posters, contact sharing using AirDrop, Standby, a new journal app, live stickers, etc. After getting our hopes up with new features coming to iOS 17, with leaks all over the internet suggesting major updates to the lock screen, control center, and home screen. Trusted sources like Apple reporter Mark Gurman from Bloomberg suggested for several months that iOS 17 was going to concentrate on fixing bugs learned from early builds of iOS 16. I think the rumors were wrong, but hey, we got more quality improvements of iOS 17 than any iOS update in years. In this video, I'll go through the updates made to iOS 17 that were announced at the WWDC keynote and the pretty cool ones that Apple didn't talk about. Before we get into it, please consider subscribing to the channel if you are new here and leave a like to the video as it helps out a ton. Let's first talk about the supported devices of iOS 17. If you have an iPhone 8, 8 Plus, or iPhone 10, it's no longer supported. You will still get iOS 16 updates, but Apple is not bringing iOS 17 to those devices as we anticipated. Starting with the lock screen, we can now customize the font weight. You can have it very thin or thick. Still, on the lock screen, the dual tone has a color palette at the bottom without going to the three dots and now shows up in a better way. We have a few new wallpapers. Under weather and astronomy, we have Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Kaleidoscope styles have been added to the lock screen wallpapers. The next feature in iOS 17 is contact posters. When you receive a call, you will see a customized name, the image of the person that's calling you, and a colorful background on the lock screen. Apple has leaned more into customization, which I think is great. One of the big new features in iOS 17 is interactive widgets. We now have interactive widgets. For example, in Apple Music, you can perform actions from the widget without going to the music app directly. If you tap play, it will play the song you are currently listening to. This feature also rolls to the Apple Podcast, Home app, and also Contacts. You can now easily call somebody from the Contact widget. You can edit the widget to customize it to your best liking. In Apple Music, we now have animated cover art on the now playing screen, compared to iOS 16. There is a crossfade feature. If you want your song to fade into the next song with no silence in between tracks, you can now do that. So, if a caller calls you and you decide to ignore the call, they choose to leave a voicemail, well, you will see a live transcription of their message on your screen while leaving a voicemail. What's even cooler is that you can pick up the phone and respond to the caller mid-voicemail. Back in 2008, when the original iPhone was introduced, Apple's voicemail was revolutionary, and I think this is going to be a game changer. The feature will be available in English in countries like USA and Canada. I don't know how Apple pulled this off since voicemails are controlled by phone carriers. I hope this rolls out globally. If you like such content, go ahead and subscribe to the channel and leave a like to the video for the YouTube algorithm, as it helps out a ton to keep making these videos. Speaking of voicemail, Apple introduces video messages in FaceTime. Live Message allows you to leave a voice message when calling with FaceTime. The Message app now has search filters, a feature that users, including me, have been asking for. This is a big update since the search sucked in the Message app. You can finally search with filters and find messages from previous months, years ago. Still, in the Message app, you can now swipe to reply to catch up with friends, especially in busy group message threads, and also the ability to jump back to where you last read. Apps in the Message app are gone, well, not really gone unless you request for them. Inline audio message transcriptions are also here too, and with the new check-in feature, you can alert a friend when you reached your destination. If you stop progress, your phone will check in with you, and if you don't respond, your location, battery, and cellular status will be shared your friends so they can decide to check on you. AirDrop, one of Apple's ecosystem, gets the biggest update for the first time in a long time. You can now bring two devices together to AirDrop anything, just like we've been doing. Wait, did I mention that you can now step out of the AirDrop range, and the transfer will continue via the internet rather than working while in range? This is super cool. With AirDrop, you can now share contact cards with one another, with a feature called Name Card. This will be great if you can't figure out strangers' names you've just met. Autocorrect got an improvement. This is great since it's been frustrating in recent years, as many have been culprits of typos in messages. With machine learning, your keyboard will learn how you type in addition to the phrases you to improve autocorrect and prediction suggestions. iOS 17 comes with a big feature called Standby, which turns your iPhone into a useful gadget when charging in the landscape. This looks like a proper desk clock. It displays widget stacks, clocks, and HomeKit control. It utilizes Siri to display on-screen info too if you prompt Siri to perform an action off-screen. iOS 17 had definitely some disappointments as people expect improvements in the Control Center and the Home app, Dynamic Island improvements. Well, we will have to wait for more betas coming out later in the year. The all-new Journal app will be coming to iPhones later this year. The app will use on-device machine learning to create personalized suggestions to help you focus during the day based on what you did. This is a great app to help people with their mental health. This is a free app included in the iOS 17 update. Minor updates include the recognition of pets by names in the Photo app in the Albums category. You can now say Siri instead of Hey Then Siri command. For example, if I say Siri, set a 2-minute timer, it goes ahead to do so. There are also back-to-back requests without having to say Siri to execute a command. In the Siri settings, you can choose to turn on and off the Hey before saying Siri, or you can turn this completely off. In iOS 17, you can now undo the position of a widget or app if you accidentally move the widget to another home screen by using the All Shake to Undo feature. You will have to first enable it under Accessibility, touch then you have Shake to undo. In Safari app, you will be able to do conversations without Googling them directly. For example, $2 to pesos and you can copy it to the clipboard. iOS 17 has introduced a new way to clear the history of your browser. Open the Setting app, look for Safari, and scroll all the way down to clear the history and website data. You will be able to choose what you want to clear, the clear time frame like the last hour, today, or all history. You can also clear profiles of web browsers. Multiple timers are here. With iOS 17, Apple has given us the ability to set multiple timers on the Clock app. You first have to add labels to the timers since you don't know which timer you set. You also get presets in the Clock app to get you started and the timers show on the lock screen. Shazam now works with live activities in the Dynamic Island on iPhone 14 Pros. If you enable Shazam in the Control Center, Shazam will pop up in the Dynamic Island and also on the home screen. You can tap to open it in Apple Music. And those are some of the new features introduced in iOS 17. Which feature are you excited about? Let me know in the comments down below. Until next time.